Good day everyone, it is Bridget here from Bridget's Kitchen, wishing you a very happy Tuesday, or maybe it's Monday, or maybe it's Friday, who knows when you're watching this. If you are joining me for the first time, welcome to my kitchen. I have something really exciting to share with you guys today. It is a recipe that I have shared before on Bridget's Kitchen on Facebook, so there is a written recipe, but I thought I'll do a video because there's nothing like seeing it in action. I reckon that's pretty cool. So I thought I'd do a bit of a video with you guys today so I can teach you one of my absolute favorite healthy treats, because you know you've all heard the saying that it's good to be organized or to be prepared, because once you're prepared and you're living more of a healthy lifestyle and you are prepared, it's so much easier to stay on track. And for me, this little healthy treat, my little fudge brownie balls, are one of those really great little things to have in the fridge when I'm feeling like I need a little bit of a chocolate hit without there being any sugar in it, and there's no gluten, of course. And so when I need one of those little chocolate hits, this really hits the spot. And what I have found from people commenting and leaving me messages about these fudge brownie balls is that they're giving them to their kids. The kids think they're having chocolate. They're absolutely blown away. They're keeping them in the fridge and hiding them in the fridge for themselves because they're so amazing. So I thought a video would be a great way to just show you guys how easy it is to make. And morning to everyone who's joining me today. Morena Lee, and hello to Cheryl as well. Welcome. If you've got any questions along the way, guys, please feel free to ask. This is a great opportunity to ask me lots of questions about what I'm doing, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Another little trick for you guys as well. These videos I'm making here on YouTube, on Facebook Live, which we're live right now, so I can't go back and edit that out. These videos I make live on Facebook, we also upload them to my YouTube channel. So if you want to be a subscriber to my YouTube channel, please feel free to do so. You just go on to Google and you put in Bridget's Kitchen or Bridget Davis YouTube, and my YouTube channel will come up, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button so then you'll get notified every time I put a new video up. And it's an easy way for you guys to search for all my cooking class videos as well. If you go to YouTube, a little bit harder on Facebook to search. YouTube is so easy to search for all my video recipes. I think I've got 350, maybe more than that, that are already uploaded. So there's heaps of content there for you guys to go through. And hello to Lee, good morning to Lee. So let's get into this recipe, because as I was saying, it is one of my favorites. I am in the middle of, today is a very big, I'm doing lots of different testing in the kitchen. So it's a recipe testing day for me today in the kitchen. So I am, as well as recipe testing, I'm also making some really gorgeous things that I know are delicious that I can have in the fridge for the rest of the week as well. So I'm preparing myself. Now, this recipe, they're saying it's my fudge brownie balls. You can get the recipe if you go onto Bridget's Kitchen on Facebook, and I think we may even be able to pop up a link to that. Mahei, we're going to pop up a link. He's on the ball today, yay! He's going to pop up a link where you can actually go and request the recipe. That's the right word I'm looking for. But in the meantime, let's get into the video, because like I say, it is really, really simple to make. So it's got a couple of different components to it. The first one is, and I'm going to bring you guys down to the bench so you can have a little bit of a look. The first component that we're going to put in is what I've got in here, this little bowl here. This is almond flour. We spoke about almond flour yesterday actually on a video, and the difference between almond flour and almond meal. So almond flour, as you can see, it's quite fine, and it's all that one sort of blonde color, which is just basically almonds that have been ground up to resemble like a flour. Really good for gluten-free baking. But also, if you can't get hold of almond flour and you can only find almond meal, the difference is that the almond skins have been left on, so you get some brown specks through this, which is not a problem at all. You can use almond flour with this one, or almond meal, which has the specks in it. In fact, I actually prefer the almond meal because you're getting the natural goodness from the skins as well, because there's so much goodness that lives just underneath the skin. So first thing for our fudge brownie balls is we're going to put some of our almond flour into our bowl here. The next ingredient in my little, aren't these coconut shells amazing? Oh, I love them so much. All right, so the next one that I have here is, this is raw cacao powder. So it is different to cocoa powder. You know, you can get cocoa powder in the supermarkets, usually in the baking section. I want you to stay away from that, because chances are that cocoa powder may have additions to it. Like sometimes they put sugar in it so you can make a hot cocoa drink. This is just raw cacao. So it's basically the cacao nibs, which comes from the cacao bean. It's the cacao nibs that they ground down into a powder. So it's completely pure. It has a very bitter flavor. So it's unlike your sweetened cocoa, but this is what you want. This is what we want here, because believe it or not, that this little powder here is really high in fiber. It's got wonderful macronutrients like potassium and magnesium, and it's also high in iron. This is actually really good for us. So we're adding some goodness in here, and of course this is what's going to give us our chocolate flavor. Now, by the way, forgot to tell you, 6 tablespoons of almond flour or almond meal, 6 tablespoons of raw cacao. Now, you can buy cacao in pretty much any supermarket now. Just go into the health food section of your supermarket and you'll find it in there. I buy mine at Costco. It's an organic one, and I get a really big bag for about $12 or something like that. By the way, we have to go to Costco. I need some more cacao, mahi. We've got a shopping trip coming up. All right, so that's in there. We've got our almond, we've got our cacao. The next thing we're going to do is just add a little sprinkle of salt. Now, you may wonder why you sometimes see salt recipes, salt ingredients in sweet recipes. Why is that? What's that little pinch of salt got to do? Well, salt doesn't just make food taste salty. Salt is there to help our palate, which is where our taste buds live, to detect the flavors in food. So when we add that little bit of, that tiny little sprinkling of salt, what we're doing is we're allowing our palate to be able to detect the flavors that we're going to have from our cacao and our almond that's already in there. Here's a great example of how that salt addition works. Now imagine you're eating a little cherry tomato. We're going to cut that cherry tomato in half. It's lovely and ripe, it's gorgeous, and pop that half of a cherry tomato into your mouth, just on its own. Probably going to taste pretty delicious, especially because if it's nice and ripe, you know, it's gorgeous and red and glossy, it's going to taste really nice. Now take the other half of that cherry tomato, sprinkle it with just a little bit of salt. Now pop that in your mouth. Already my taste buds are going, well, it's going to taste totally different, because the salt hasn't made that little tomato salty. What it's actually done is help our palate, our taste buds, to detect the flavors. We can now get more idea of what's going on in that tomato. So that's why we add a little bit of pinch of salt to our little fudge brownie balls. It's going to help our palate. It's going to make it more delicious. Even that tiny bit of salt is going to help our palate and our taste buds to go, there it is, there's that gorgeous flavor. So that's why we've got a bit of salt in there. The next ingredient we're going to add is here. Now, this may look a bit odd. I do have actually butter under here, and the recipe calls for soft but not melted butter, and yes, I know it's butter. And so this recipe is definitely for someone who's, if you're going through my gut reset 28-day meal plan, this will not be something that you can have within that 28 days. This is a little treat for afterwards, but this is actually really good for me personally. I use it during maintenance. So, you know, I have these types of healthy treats, so I'm not going for the unhealthy ones. But if you are on my 28-day plan, meal plan, then this is one that you want to keep for later on. Go through the meal plan, reset the gut, then you can start to incorporate healthy fats back into your diet. And that's exactly what butter is. Butter is a healthy fat, and we need fat in our diet. Please don't think that fat is the enemy. Healthy fat's not the enemy. So I'm talking about butter, I'm talking about coconut oil, I'm talking about avocado oil, I'm talking about avocados, I'm talking about nuts. All those things are really necessary in our diet. So once you've gone through my 28-day meal plan, you've reset your gut, it's nice and healthy, then we can start to incorporate healthy fats back into our diet, because it's really, really important. So I've got here butter. And the reason I had my glass over my butter like that is the recipe calls for soft but not melted butter. So this was rock hard. It came out of the fridge. I cut it up into cubes, about 80 grams of butter, just under 3 ounces. And I cut it up into cubes, and I wanted to soften it without melting it. So the best way to do that is take a heat-proof glass or mug, fill it with boiling water, tip the water out, and then take the glass and invert it over the butter. What is then going to happen is it's going to soften without melting. It's such a great little trick. It really, really is. And for this, it's perfect, because I dare not put that in the microwave, because that might just go a little bit too crazy on us. So yeah, I don't do that at all, which is fine if you do want to put it in the microwave, but just be really careful and watch it really, really closely. So let's just test the butter. And look, oh, fingers are clean, by the way. I have washed my hands really well with soap and clean them off. So fingers are absolute, and you need to do this as well because this is hands-on. This is a hands-on recipe, so make sure your hands are really, really clean. So if you, as you can see here, just me being able to put my finger into the butter, and it was rock hard, and that was simply by just inverting that hot glass or a hot mug over top of the butter for about 4 to 5 minutes while you prepare the rest of the ingredients, and you've got soft but not melted butter, which is really important. So our butter is also going to go in here. I'm just going to whack that in. The other ingredient that I have in the recipe, I have a little bit of vanilla essence, which you could add, but I realized, went to my cupboard and realized I don't have any today, so I'm not adding that. So normally I'll put in a teaspoon, I think it is, of, yes, a teaspoon of pure, not essence, vanilla extract is what you'll put in there. But what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to add in a little bit of hemp, pure hemp protein. So pure hemp protein is comes straight from the hemp plant, and it is naturally extracted, and it is amazingly good for us. So hemp protein is a whole food ingredient. It's really, really easy for us to digest, and it's really high in vitamins, minerals, and that awesome, really important fiber. So I'm adding fiber to my chocolate brownie fudge balls here. There's essential amino acids, and the other thing that's really great about hemp protein is it's got essential fatty acids. Those are the ones that are really good for our brain. So this is why I like to add hemp protein, and it makes it a little bit nutty, which is good too. So I'm adding, you know, that little bit of fiber and omega-3s and 6s, but I'm also adding a little bit of this nutty flavor to it, which makes it really, really super delicious as well. So that goes in there. And the very last thing is inulin powder. So inulin powder, as you all know, is one of my favorite ingredients to add into food because it is a prebiotic, so it's good for gut health. There's 6 tablespoons of this. Goes in here. Better count, 3. Might get it wrong. 4, 5, 6. So it is a prebiotic, so it's good for our gut health. It helps to keep the gut microbiota really, really healthy and happy there. Prebiotics feed probiotics, which is really important as well. And the other really great thing about inulin is it's a dietary fiber, so once again we're adding a fiber component to our healthy treat, which is really, really, really good for us. So that's what it kind of looks like in the bowl. It's now time to get the hands involved. Like I said, this is a hands-on recipe. So once again, this is a really good one to get the kids involved. I always find when the recipe involves like rubbing things in and mixing things and making a little bit of a mess, the kids all think this is rather fabulous. So definitely one for the kids. All right, so we're just gonna rub that butter in, and this is why we need it to be soft, because if it was too hard, this would be a very difficult task. And rather than us getting this kind of reaction with the texture, it'll be quite hard and shard-like, and that is very difficult to roll into balls. So the butter goes in there. Now you don't have to use butter, you could use another healthy fat, and the other healthy fat that you could use here is coconut oil. Hard coconut oil, well, not hard, rock hard, kind of that texture of the butter, definitely not melted because you want to be able to roll the balls together. So you can actually use coconut oil and, well, harder coconut oil, so that you get this sort of reaction from it. And that will, of course, make this a vegan dish as well. So that's up to you. It doesn't have quite the same flavor. It's not quite as brownie-like in flavor. See what's happening now that I'm just giving it a squeeze? It's beginning to hold together. So I know it's working really, really well. So yes, when it comes to the coconut oil, it doesn't quite have the flavor of that real browniness, but if you want to go full vegan, then absolutely 100% do it. Make sure you get your vanilla essence in there as well, and it will be absolutely wonderful. Okay, so it's looking really, really good. I'm liking this. This is the perfect texture that we're looking for. That is it. You see, I'm able to bring it all, your messy hands, I'm able to bring it together, which is really cool, which is what we want. Give it a bit of a roll. Now, if you find that your brownie mixture is a little bit wet, it may be that your butter was too wet when you were making it. I'm going to put that there, look. Can you see that? Oh, there it is. maybe your butter was a little bit too soft, or when you were melting it. And if you find that your mixture is a little bit wet, all you need to do is to put it into the fridge for 10 to 15 minutes just to firm up a little bit. Give it a bit of a test, and you might find that you're going to be able to roll it a lot easier next time around. Look at that, so cool. I'll make one more because I think one more is going to look great sitting on my little daisy plate there. So these, once they've been made, rolled, and you've made a bit of a mess, and you've probably afterwards, once you've finished, you've probably licked your fingers clean, because why wouldn't you? Once that's done, then all we need to do is pop these into the fridge to just firm up a little bit, maybe half an hour if you can handle it. You know, if it's a cold day, don't even bother, just go for it. But they will last in your fridge. Oh, well, how long can you wait to eat them? But they will last in your fridge for 3 to 4 weeks, unless of course you eat them. I'm just gonna go and clean my hands. I'm not gonna lick my fingers. Give it a bit of a clean. Goodness me, I've got chocolate everywhere. As I said, this is a great one to get the kids involved. It really, really is. It's one of those recipes where you can, you know, get messy, get your fingers involved, and you know, food and cooking, for me, one of the best things about it is when you do get hands-on, because you get to feel textures rather than just kind of looking at them, if you know what I mean. You get to experience the food, and I think that's why we get such pleasure out of eating with our hands as well, like picking things up. Is because, you know, like little kids, they want to touch everything. And that's very much with food and cooking too, is that the whole idea is that we get involved. You know, so this is one of those recipes that definitely gets us involved, but how easy is it to make? This is only taken seconds, right? And then you now have, well, you will have the ability, I still got chocolate on my fingers. You now have the ability to have these gorgeous little chocolate brownie balls in your fridge, fudge brownie balls, waiting for you, so you've got that healthy treat always on the go. Now the other cool thing that you can do here, before they go in the fridge, just after you finish rolling them, is you can actually roll them and stuff. So you could roll them, if you like it, you like the sort of bitter chocolate, you know, the real dark chocolate, you can roll that in more raw cacao powder, and you've got a really decadent, rich, dark chocolate treat. You could also roll that, and a little bit of desiccated coconut would work really, really well if you're making the vegan version with the coconut oil. You then roll it in some desiccated coconut. I have also rolled these, and this looks so cool. Like if you're thinking about serving these at a party, or you're taking them for a healthy snack treat to work, if you've got a little shared lunch and you want to really blow people away with your fudge brownie balls, roll them in finely chopped pistachios, because then you get that wonderful green color on the outside. They look absolutely fabulous, but you really can go a little bit crazy on what you want to roll them, and it's completely up to you, because they're soft enough that once you do roll, they'll actually pick up whatever it is you're rolling them in. So my favorite is pistachio, and the other one thing I do sometime as well is I have bee pollen granules, and I roll them in bee pollen as well, which is quite nice. So there's a few options for you guys, but once again, this, remember, it's got a bit of butter in it. So if you are doing my meal plan, my 28-day meal plan, and I think I've got oh, here it is. I had it printed off, my 28-day meal plan. If you are doing my 28-day meal plan, this is a treat for after the 28 days. You know, this is not part of your snack list, because you 28-day meal plan, you get that. And then you also get that as well, which is my go food, no food lists. So I literally take down, you know, I header as protein, and these are all the great proteins that you can use as substitutions, and these are the ones you kind of need to avoid. And in your avoid list, it's things like, you know, processed crumbed meats and processed crumb fish, because that's never any good. So that comes free with your 28-day meal plan as well. And that's for substitution. So if you are on that 28-day meal plan, and some of you I know started on Monday, and you're keeping me updated, which is wonderful, thank you. Once you're finished, I suggest you make fudge brownie balls, because they are literally the best. Like seriously, they're really, really good. All right guys, I'm gonna go back to testing recipes for us I have some fabulous ones I can't wait to share with you guys in the next couple of days on Bridget's Kitchen. In the meantime, this is going in the fridge, so we've got something yummy to eat at lunchtime. Alright guys, take care, talk soon, bye!